What's up, everybody? It's That Anime Show. I'm Terri Doty.
And I'm J. Michael Tatum, right? That's who I am. Okay. Today, I forget.
Our guest is the boss, Brina Palencia. Apparently, that's what they call you.
Boss. Yeah, that's right.
The boss. The boss? Where does that come from?
I'm just that badass.
That must be it.
In the fan drawings for, the anticipation of the show, it's like, we're very much background characters and you're all da-da-da-da.
Or I'm in a cage. I'm either in a cage or I'm off to the side with a little sweat bubble or a sweat, a thought beat going, what?
It's either that I'm just like really badass or it's that I'm that evil. I'm like the boss at the end of video games,
Yeah, you're like Dracula in Castlevania.
Dracula.
You just won't fucking die.
I won't. It has been tried.
Aren't you so happy that we don't have to watch our
I've tried many times and I failed.
Like, we don't have to watch the cussing, because I know you asked me.
Oh, yeah.
I went to Stephanie's show, and I was very excited because Stephanie was on the day before, and she was so psyched for us to, just because we'd heard her before, but she was very happy that you're a part of the Bremsness now.
Yes.
And, you were on a break, you're like, we can cuss, right? I'm like, yeah. You're like, oh, I was wondering, how the hell are we going to do this shit?
How the fuck am I going to talk?
Those first few shows live were hard because I'm like, I'm referring to it's a placeholder word. You're like, that fucking douche. You could say douche, but it needs a da-da in front of it. It needs a rhythm. So fucking is like the great... It's a syncopated word that.
Dude, I think honestly, when you say fucking douche, it's a little more formal. To just say douche, it's just kind of a casual.
Monsieur douche.
Like, yeah.
If you just say douche, like you douche.
Yeah, it's not.
I say douche nozzle a lot.
I like douche toaster because it doesn't actually make any sense.
Douche toaster.
And it always
I like to make up phrases.
Yeah, it always causes people to kind of like do a double take. Like, wait, did you just say? Douche toaster?
I remember, like, my first couple sessions with Aaron, I tried to watch my mouth with Aaron, and then I started getting on this habit of saying mother lover, and he's like, why do you keep saying mother lover? I'm like, it's just funny. He's like, you're not trying to watch your language around me. And I was like, fuck no.
Why would I do that? That's stupid.
No.
I think we've cussed more in the first 2 minutes here than we've cussed ever.
I'm here.
No shit.
I'm just very... I mean, we've been on, You've been either writing or out of town at a con,
or
blah,
all
blah,
of
blah.
the above.
Blah, blah, blah. I'm so popular. Me.
Oh my God.
I have shit to do.
Somebody's jealous.
Well, I mean, I was at cons too.
Well,
yeah, fuck you. Yeah, no, I went, I was in Tucson at Konnichiwa the weekend before last.
Con-dash.
Yes, Con-Ichiwa. It's a really clever name, I thought.
And Jamie was there.
Jamie was there. Vic Mignogna was there. Crispin Freeman was there.
Tra-la-la-la.
And family ties.
No, I get an email, the second he comes back, he's like, and by the way, Crispin Freeman. Very, very, very pretty to look at. I'm like, yeah, and he's like,
also a really cool guy, also a really neat guy. I got a chance to sit down and talk with him, and we had a really. I didn't have a lot of time because he was only in for like a day.
But the time we had together.
But the time we had together was something
very
I shall take
special.
with me forever. No, he's a fun guy. He's a really fun guy. Really, really intelligent. So we had a very stimulating conversation about all manner of topics, and it was fun. And Konnichiwa was there. It was there for us.
Conversation.
Shut up.
Arousing.
Fuck you.
How stimulating was it, Tatum?
Very stimulating.
Very. Was it titillating?
It was a masterpiece of excitation. How's
Sexual
that?
reference.
What? That was also sexual.
I need
it
to
really
not
filled the hole
the mic. I just realized
in my life.
We all do. We know Tatum does it too. But
what do I do? Oh, they're
clapping
clapping
into the mic. Yeah.
That was really good.
I get so excited.
But no, Konnichiwa, it was their first year to do it. It was a little con, but it was really, really cool. They ran it really well. The kids were nice. The fans were all really, fun. There was no drama. It was cool, laid back, really neat con. They took good care of us. Cool. And then the next weekend was Anime Boston, which was huge. I don't think I've ever been to a convention that big.
It just seemed like a fun con. There were a lot
with the
of fun
exception of
people
like
there.
Anime Expo back in 07. But I spent so little time doing anything at Expo that I didn't really get a lot of exposure there. But at Anime Boston, you know, oh my God, the opening ceremonies for this thing was like at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Friday, and the room was packed.
Yeah,
I mean, I have never seen an opening ceremonies that's that packed before.
Yeah, that was
and
my
it was a sizable room.
That was my first convention, and that was like 3 or 4 years ago. I don't remember, but yeah, back then it was only like I think it was like 5,000 people, maybe.
Yeah, this year it was close. I think it was close to 18,000.
I don't know what
That's awesome.
is construed as a big con. I mean, because generally I'm just now going to anime conventions because before that it was horror conventions, and those
I think
were
most cons are between 5,000 and 10,000, right?
I think,
Kids.
yeah.
But the average con, they're smaller. I mean, like there's some that like maybe 400 kids. You know, Konichiwa was very small. There was only like 1,000 or so.
I think the reason it was so packed is they weren't expecting so many people to go.
And like Anime USA, which was in DC back in October, was I guess there's maybe 6,000, something like that.
I'm like
I
the worst person of guessing like numbers. Like if I'm in a huge, room or something, and someone asks me about how many people, and I'm like,
I don't know.
Anywhere between 25 and 600.
What's the maximum?
Anyway, this group I'm looking at could be 25 and maybe 600. I'm not sure.
Tell me the maximum capacity of this room, and I can go off that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there
were
was
that many, yes.
But Anime Boston is definitely, I think, one of the largest conventions on the East Coast.
Yeah, that has to be one of the
definitely, and if not the largest, I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure, but it was really cool for being as big as it is. They ran a tight ship. I mean, there was.
That's good.
Yeah, no, Anime Boston,
for nothing.
They don't
They
fuck
treated
around,
us like
man.
rock stars.
Yeah.
I loved it. They treated me and Joshua and the rest of us well.
And you loved it.
And
Weird.
I totally, I know, I loved it, right? I usually hate being treated like a rock star. And
yeah, honestly, I think Anime Boston and SakuraCon are probably the most. Yeah, I went to SakuraCon same time he was at Anime Boston.
SakuraCon is awesome. So I went there last year, and that was that for me was the con to beat. After that, it was like, okay, every con I've been to after that kind of is in SakuraCon's shadow.
Yeah, no, it was the same thing with me for Anime Boston.
Anime Boston is now in the same class.
Because I know there's a con coming up where the two of you finally get to go to a con together.
Oh
and
my God,
I thought it was
Anime
awesome.
Central in Chicago
When's
next
that?
month. Next month, right?
Next month, yeah.
Like
It's our first con together.
It is. Oh my God, there's gonna be so much trouble.
When we found out that
both of
us were going, we both squealed like little girls. It was awesome.
Yeah, we're like, you're going to? Oh my
God! Which I have to say, if you don't prank me at Anime Central, I will be so upset. Because
this is not fun. This is not how this works. You can't want me to do it. It's not. It completely defeats the purpose if you want me to do it.
I choose to disagree. That's all.
I disagree as well, and I am so much better of a friend than you. I mean, I have pranked you so many times, and you have done nothing.
The closest, I don't know. You've had little hints of oh, that's funny, but that wasn't a prank.
Yeah, no, I haven't.
I haven't doing anything funny.
I haven't pranked you, nor have I done anything funny. Yeah, you're right.
Getting to know each other. I think the first time I ever met you, I was still interning, and you were coming in for Case Closed, and I was just very between Bevins and Justin.
Oh yeah.
And everyone's like, "Who is she?" And Bevin's like, "Don't even look at her.
Don't make eye contact."
I'm like, never mind. But Romeo and Juliet, when you started going off on a tangent singing, and he,
oh, that's right.
And Casey Clark just walked out, and you went on for 5-10 minutes.
Dude, I sang the whole fucking song.
You did, and then you kept interjecting with little historical interludes.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, and this is actually he's singing this to a girl, and it's weird that a guy is singing it because this year or something, and you're like, we're going.
It's a pants roll.
She still hasn't looked out the window to see that we're not there.
We're leaning against the door.
But you listened back to it and got some good historical little facts.
I did. I felt like I was listening to Adventures in Good Music.
Yeah,
I really did. It was.
But again, that was me interning. We're like, just get up. Get out of your chair. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was pretty good. I guess that kind of makes up
but
for
you prank me all the time in the booth. You always are. She's famous for doing things.
Only
where I'm
pranking you. You're like the only one I prank.
I feel like I guess we'll do like I remember in the middle of doing
What she's
Romeo and
trying to
Juliet,
say
there
is
was
you're
some.
not special.
I know, I'm not special.
No,
and
no,
zing,
I'm not
I've been
kidding.
had
No.
again, right here.
No, I'm not kidding. Whoa, I probably shouldn't hit the mic. No, you really are like the only one that I consistently prank. You and I pranked Leah a lot, but like as far as like scale, like I definitely prank
Leah
you
gets all
the most. Like,
Well, it
which
started-
I am
okay.
absolutely pranking you at Anime Central.
Yeah,
like,
I
just
know.
So you know.
I know.
And I put a lot of thought into it, Tatum, and I'm gonna be so upset if you do not put some thought into your prank. And I will feel unloved.
I'm gonna have to like fake my own death or something now, or have you like
it's gonna be
kidnapped
something-
by a group of
Just
masked
be,
bandits or something.
Like,
It's gotta be
somewhat
something
creative.
someone would care about,
Come
Tatum.
on.
Like, oh, Tatum's dead. Oh, shit.
Oh, that sucks. Well, I guess I'm doing this panel solo now. Yeah, that
No, don't fake die. That would.
it's too complicated. No, my insurance company would have my ass. But no, it started because we had such an interesting rapport working together on Aquarion.
Oh my God.
first gig as a director.
Well, especially, and
And-
too bad for you. It was me and my brother.
Yeah, both of you together, the fucking Bobsy twins over here.
Yeah.
No.
And it would, but yeah, it was like it started with just little things like that because it was a very awkward. The show had its awkward moments that
Well,
we all
it was
had
just
to just.
awkward for the fact that I had to fake a fucking orgasm in front of my brother.
And you were playing a character who was
And that
attracted to
was
her
weird.
brother.
Yeah, that was weird. Believe it or not, it's really weird to have to fake an orgasm in front of your brother.
It was weird. It was weird having to be part of that dynamic.
Had to fake an and it was just Joe, so Joe's like,
It was very weird being part of that dynamic though, because like we'd have to get it, and like Gino would just mute you, and I
Yeah.
couldn't hear it. And they'd be like, "Can I hear that?" No, you can't. It's good. We're going on. We're
She's like,
moving
no,
on now.
no,
like,
I don't wanna
whatever.
hear it.
he just
Oh, yeah,
runs out,
yeah.
grabs another engineer, like, hurry up. he's
Yeah, it was
recording.
really funny. And it was weird, but I remember the time when I don't remember what it was, but it was like I felt like, well, here's a monologue I need to really kind of sink my teeth
Oh, that's
into.
right.
So I told her, I'm like, well, before you do it, let's let's take a little
No,
break and
you
I'll
were
talk.
way more dramatic than that. And this
Well,
is why.
I was-
No. Let me say.
Oh,
this is
okay.
what you did.
Yes, please.
This is
do
what
your
you did.
impression of
Yes,
me.
I suppose we should.
Okay, so here's how it went down. Okay, this is when you first started, so you were very, 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 very talkative as a director. You were all about having these long, drawn out, yet very eloquent, descriptions
Nice
of
save
how
there,
you
thank
want
you.
things and directions and whatever. And so Gino and I would always make fun of you for it. And so this time, we watched it, and then just very seriously, you were like, you know what? Take your headphones off for a second. Just step out of the booth. And then Gino, after a long silence of you pondering exactly how you want to phrase the brilliance that's going to come out of your mouth, Gino goes, what was it?
He's like, oh, wait, check it out, Brina. Here comes the secret of acting.
Yeah.
And I had nothing. I just started picking up
all of
highlighters
us
and throwing them at him.
Just were annihilated. Like, all
There goes the
roar of
mood.
laughter.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Gino, you son of a bitch.
I've heard fun Gino stories, like the one where it was an awkward like exchange between an actor and a director, and Gino pulled like a Girl Scout cookie box out. He's like, "Ow!"
Yeah, he
little
just
kid on the box goes,
there's a little kid on the box who just looks like she's having a great time, and she's like all "Rah!" on the box, and Gino just decided to make the give her a soundtrack. We'd pick it up and be like, "Mama!"
But now Will does that. If it gets quiet, he's like, "Ow!" Seriously, dude,
How
trying to
did these
record.
things get started?
Yeah, so even Gino and I separately are a force to be reckoned
Yes.
with, but then together, it's
But then,
just like,
but then on Romeo and Juliet, I remember another moment where I was having having a sort of John Lovitz director moment where I'm like, you must do this, it's this, and only this, and it is means
That was the
this,
only
and-
time you would
and it
compare
was-
yourself to John Lovitz doing the acting. That was
Acting.
the only time.
Yes, that is the only
Seriously?
time. Fuck off.
Seriously. Okay, and I'm not sarcastic.
But yeah, so I'm having this giving her this speech about what's behind the delivery of this line, because it was a similar speech I'd given to Chris Burnett, because it was when Romeo and Juliet respectively have to say their full names in order to
Yeah,
stop the
I
guards
remember.
from killing them, and Burnett who'd been in like the day or a couple days before you was doing a great job, but that was the first Romeo line he'd had where he had to yell, and he hadn't found that voice yet.
And he was so new. Like, I don't think he'd ever yelled in anything.
I was trying to do my job as director, and I was
like the background, like no.
Yeah, and it was a very difficult line. You know, everything, all of it was on, so every little flap had to be just perfect, and it was his name, so we couldn't change a thing about the line.
Yeah,
and it was tough going for the guy, I'd imagine, but I mean he got it. In like 3 takes, which is pretty damn good considering.
Really, yeah, that's really good.
But the first take, he was like, "Wow, okay, that didn't really do." And I'm like, "No, let's try it again. More force behind it. Really, just don't be afraid of destroying that mic. It's the last line you've got today, so we don't have anything after this. So this is how we're gonna finish it up." And he did it again, not quite passionate enough. So I told him, I'm like, okay, I need to really get in his head and direct him. So I'm like, think of it, this entire bank of episodes you've been denying each other's names because you don't want to accept who you've been, and you want to pretend like you can just start over fresh when, your past is still haunting you. And now, ironically, all you have to, the only thing that you can do to save the girl you love is to scream your name out, is to truly, truly own it.
Right.
And it got him where he needed to be, because the next take was exquisite and what finally made it to mix.
Right.
But I did the same thing to Brina a couple days later, and she just listens patiently, and when I'm done goes, "Wow, Tatum, that's fucking deep." I'm like, shut up and do it. And of course you do it perfectly in one take, you bitch. Why do I?
We played with her a lot in that show. Like, what was it when, the Capulet camp gets, she gets separated, and then you told her everybody died.
That was a
asshole.
Hey, but that was that was such a great read. That was great.
Oh, they're alive, by the way.
Yeah, I was like
so mad.
It was funny. The look on Will's face was like looking at me like, you haven't watched this, have you? And I'm like, shut up, just shut up and shut up. No, I'm fucking with her. I want her to read this like she thinks everyone, but it got you there, That's my prerogative as a director. If I have to lie to get you to do something, then I lie. You shouldn't have to.
It definitely got me there. But I think I probably could have gotten there either way.
Because she's awesome.
I just like the path of least resistance. And by least resistance, I mean the path of least resistance for me and the most pain for you.
Thanks, Dick.
I find a way to be truthful and still do it, but I mean, you'll get there.
That's so... Yeah, I'll get there one day. But yeah, so it was fun. But that's what I love about you, is because you don't take yourself so seriously that you can still give a great performance that has me that has me at hello. But that can reduce me to tears, as you've done consistently in everything you've been in.
Because I yell at you a lot.
You yell at me a lot, and I'm scared of you. But you don't take yourself so seriously. You're one of those really, I think, great actresses that can just shed that veneer in an instant, and it is acting for you. It's not psychotic. You don't ever, which is good, which is very good.
Thank you. I really do try very hard to not be a cunt.
Well, it's an everyday struggle.
What's happening to us? That's my next question, actually. What is happening to it? No.
Oh, okay.
Well, see, I met Gino years before I met you.
Well, and that's what's funny is that we found out that we had a whole group of friends that we had all of these connections, but somehow never met each other until way later.
Yeah, unless we were really drunk. It's which is
highly likely.
highly. We were probably like, God, that bitch.
Yeah, fuck her.
But yeah, no, I had overbooked her for a particular show, so of course Joe was like, "Come on, we need to get going." I'm like, "We have time." So we're gonna get to know each other a little bit. And yeah, it's like, "Oh, huh?"
Yeah, no, it was crazy. Totally crazy.
Yes.
We have some questions
from fans.
Let's ask one. I think the.
Wait, you guys ask questions? I thought we were just hanging out.
Well, we don't ask questions.
We're
fans
doing
ask
that
questions.
too, but I mean,
wait, is this some kind of interview thing?
No.
Yeah. No.
No.
I was wondering why there were mics in front of us. I was like, wow, this is weird,
Brina,
guys.
no, you and I are going to hang out. We'll have some fun after Tatum leaves.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Tatum's here. How much fun?
Well, I could go now if you want. I'll just.
Actually, no, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm. I'll take care. Have fun.
Okay, come back,
I'm
Tatum.
back.
All right.
I knew you could handle this without me. Okay, let's see.
Ask?
There's some good questions here. I'm trying to pick one.
Freaking ask
let's
him,
see.
man.
I'm picking.
Yeah, I love that someone's a fan of yours even made like an event, like that anime show. The boss is gonna be there.
Was it Tara?
No, I don't think so.
She's the one that usually calls me the boss.
Well, Tara and her sister Jackie have been fans of the show pretty much since the beginning. Like when we still had it live, they would call in.
Yeah, they're kind of my favorites.
Damn cool.
I mean, not to pick favorites, but
but I just
pretty
did.
awesome. But I just did.
But yeah, no. So whenever because I constantly update, I'm always trying to bug people to get on the show. So whenever I updated that you were going to be on the show, they're yes, fuck yes, yes. Yeah.
Aw, that's sweet.
All right. Well, Benjamin Oscar asked a Sergeant Frog question. I'll ask it because I freaking love that show. And
Who doesn't?
Exactly.
Losers.
Yeah,
Frog,
losers.
frog, frog.
Losers don't like it very
Exactly.
much. But that's what makes them.
I've just gotten into
Okay, so he has. How is it being the lovable and insane Tamama?
How is it?
Yeah, what's it like? Take us
Well, I
there.
mean, it's like real life. Because I feel like in real life, I am totally an alien frog that's really adorable and psychotic.
Totally.
I could see that.
No, honestly, Tamama is probably one of my... He's probably my favorite character to voice. I mean, I have other characters that I have a lot of, like, sentimental, like, value with them, but, like, there's not really any sentimental value with Tamama. I just really love voicing him so much because he is so adorable. And there's like no limit to... He's just so extreme. He's either stupidly adorable, incredibly psychotic, or just plain dumb. Like, I mean, he's just... incredible. I love that character. And I love how bipolar he is. I think that's really what makes him, is how bipolar he is.
Oh my goodness. Okay, this is not related to any question, but I just watched Nabari no O.
Oh!
And I showed up randomly, of course. I'm just very happy Monica let me do anything in that show. But I didn't know that you were the lead at all. And so, but of course, like first episode, I'm like, oh, that's Brina. That's weird. No, it's not. But again, Brina and I should have met a lot sooner than
we should have met like 10 years ago.
I'm rather glad you didn't,
people
actually.
here.
I'm rather glad you didn't. That's I feel like we dodged a bullet on that one.
Yeah, but we know each other now.
Yeah.
It's actually worse because our husbands get along.
Yeah.
Ridiculously well.
Yeah, like really well.
Yeah.
I guess it made no difference when you met. It was always going to be a catastrophe for the rest
Yeah, but
of
now
us.
there are 4 of us.
Yeah, dude. Now we're like a total fucking powerhouse.
Although whenever like Steven or Paul are together, like Brina and I pretty much just kind of walk away.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, something retarded.
Oh, boys.
Okay, so Tara asks why vegan, but I'm pretty sure we discussed this.
I'm actually not vegan. I'm vegetarian.
You're not eating fish?
I'm vegan at home. Like, I only cook
We were talking
vegan.
about that, yeah. It's easier that way at home because it's really hard to do it out here.
Yeah, exactly.
In Texas.
Yeah, it's virtually impossible to be vegan in Texas. I know Leah Clark is vegan.
Is she full on vegan now?
Yeah, she's full on vegan, and I don't know how the hell she does it because it's so hard, and I feel so sorry for her because like on her birthday, she was like, "Let's all go out to eat," and she was like, "We're gonna go to Blue Mesa," and I was like, "Leah, you can't eat anything at Blue Mesa," and she was like, "They have like a veggie plate." I was like, "You're just gonna eat side vegetables for your fucking birthday?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "Yeah, it's just I don't know where else to go," and I was like, "No. It's your birthday. We're gonna go to an Indian restaurant and people can suck it because it's your birthday." But anyway, so I'm vegetarian and I've been vegetarian for 5 years now.
I thought you were a pescatarian.
I actually switch back and forth.
Ah.
Now I'm usually when I'm working out a whole lot, like I'll be pescatarian just because I crave fish so much.
I do, but I don't give into it. I like eat like a random protein, like a funky flavored protein.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm pescatarian when I'm being really lazy. Or now
if I were gonna eat meat again, it would just be fish.
Yeah.
It's
now
easy.
I will do fish like if I am like on my honeymoon. Mm-hmm. I ate fish because I was in the Mediterranean.
Yeah,
and it's like fresh. And the only thing I have against eating fish really is just the whole like farming stuff or whatever because it's bad for the environment. But the whole reason I started was for animal rights and whatever. And the reason that I have kept doing it is just because of health benefits. Like I just feel so much better. And it's easier since, especially now, like the reason why I'm vegan at home now is like it helps me maintain weight, and it's also more eco-friendly.
Yeah.
A vegan diet is much more eco-friendly, and so it helps me maintain weight a lot more, and which is a lot more important for me because I'm doing more on-camera stuff, like with GameStop and everything, and like auditioning for film stuff, and it's kind of important to stay kind of thin and healthy.
I've been actually, it was the opposite thing. Like I did it for health reasons, and then it was, as much as I love what PETA's trying to do, they're insane.
Oh my God, yeah, PETA is insane.
That was another like way that we were talking during Romeo and Juliet, is when PETA was trying to get whoever them is, to replace like cow milk with breast milk.
Yeah, that is, well, and the thing I hate about PETA is that they have this whole idea of every single person on the face of the planet should be vegan, which is not healthy for some people.
No.
For example, my sister-in-law, she is allergic to everything. She's allergic to beans, rice, artichokes, soy, gluten, like virtually any kind of like protein that you would get through vegetables, she's allergic to. And she had been vegetarian for like 15 years before she found all this stuff out. And then like there was like major issues.
Got better.
Yeah, she had like major issues like with her intestines and everything. And she had no choice but to eat like leafy greens and chicken. Those were like the only things that she wasn't allergic to. And like if she only ate leafy greens, she would die. Like, you know,
because leafy greens have no, like, they don't have protein.
Yeah, they don't have protein, but leafy greens actually have a lot of like
they're great, but you can't just eat any.
But you can't just eat that. So I think it's silly and just ignorant, like,
a little bit,
for anyone to like feel that their diet is the diet that every single person in the world should be on. Like, I'm very personal about it. Like, I think it is very individual.
It's a personal truth.
And I think and organizations, don't think I should do it. Like, if we had kids, I'd probably have to start eating meat again for a bit, just because kids need to be introduced to that
and it's
stuff.
just, and you could do vegetarian with kids, but it's just kind of hard.
It would be really hard, and they're going to be awkward enough.
Well, and the thing is,
I'll ease them off me.
What's interesting and I think tragic about the whole thing is, I've myself been trying to go vegetarian for the past couple of years, and I'm slowly getting there. I'm
that
more
documentary Food Inc.
helped a lot, and I do eat less red meat. I actually almost never eat red meat anymore.
That's the first thing I let go.
But I eat chicken and I eat a lot of fish. And I probably will only ever be pescatarian. I don't think I can go full vegetarian because I really do like seafood a lot. But I do try to, I'm trying to be aware, and like when we were in Boston, we ate seafood there the whole time.
Right.
Because it's fresh. It's there, there's the whole farm thing isn't part of the equation, I think. And so, but organizations like PETA, and there are others that are the culprit too, I think I think a lot of people eat unhealthily out of pride because they're like, well, I'm going to eat this red meat. I'm going to eat like crap because, at least I'm not one of these freaky PETA people. You know what I mean? I think PETA almost creates this image, and they go out of their way to create this image.
Like us that are
and they're not because it's kind of like the saying, like any organization that is so militant about their cause, it's like, dude, you can't get in people's faces like that, because if you force them to choose, they're going to choose against you just because you're being a dick.
Absolutely.
And so people are almost, we have this whole culture now where I'm like, perhaps more than any other time in our country, we're fatter, we eat worse than we ever have as a whole.
Yeah.
And it's almost because a lot of these movements sprang up, and you have people that it's not about what they eat, it's about what everybody else eats, and they have to get in everyone's faces about it. And I think if people will just relax and be like, this is good, and just led by example, rather than by edict, most people would be like, I want to try that, because that's what people like you, for example, and you are kind of what make me want to try the whole get as far into vegetarianism as I can, because I look at you and I'm like, you know what? I can sit down and have meat in your presence, and you don't gag or make a big deal out of it. But at the same time,
I have had red meat on accident before. Like, someone served me a quesadilla that had like ground beef in it, and I totally gagged because it was so disgusting.
But you don't gag while I'm eating it. That's the thing. Yeah. And so it's people like yourselves that I say, that help the cause more than people who are like, oh my God, what you're eating is so bad for you. You have to do blah 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 blah. That stuff.
I think like someone expected that, because we I was lucky enough to see Carly Mosier a couple weeks ago because she was in town.
I got to see her down in my
time. She's like, I know this is awkward, but I mean, we talk a lot online, but can I stay with you? I'm like, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
She talked about you a lot during Anime Boston. We really missed you.
Yeah, apparently her, Chris Ayres, and Josh are fighting over whose Terri Doty is whose. I don't know. I'm looking to make a Terri Doty doll. Like, you know, like 6
Little do they
catchphrases.
know that you're totally mine.
Whatever.
Totally. Oh crap! Here we go again. But no, we went to this Thai place because McFarlane's very used to having to be able to accommodate because his brother is full on vegan.
Yeah.
Luckily, his brother I think lives in New York.
Yeah, Mike, and it's funny because Mike is like, he's not a hardcore meat eater, but
No.
he totally eats meat. And he was the person who introduced me to Spiral Diner, which is a vegan diner in Dallas and Fort Worth, which is like one of my favorite restaurants.
It's great. I love it. And
Well, Mike's a very adventurous eater. He'll try anything.
He's very
Which
adventurous.
is really cool. Because
very,
he's
very
turned me on to a lot of cuisines.
Well,
I'm
and
like,
it's fun too, just to watch what he's eating.
Because he always like gets like the most like he's like, what's the most ethnic dish you have?
Yeah.
I want that.
Yeah,
And
no,
people
he's
go,
really
what
funny.
is that?
This has elm bark in it? I want elm bark. All right, give me elm bark. You know,
But we
maggots,
went-
cool. Bring them out. You know,
And of course, Monica's doing that macrobiotic thing,
Yeah.
whatever. We went to a Thai place, and you know, Zach Bolton joined us, which I was very happy about because I don't really get to hang out with Zach that much.
Zach's a shit.
He's pretty damn awesome.
Yeah.
you said
and-
he's the shit, not a shit, right?
That's shit.
Okay. Important distinction.
Yeah.
Harley
Zach's a
got
shit.
like heavy. Harley got like heavy meat and went like, "I'm sorry," and I went, "I really don't care." And
Honestly-
somebody else went sorry when they got their meat, and I went, "I don't care."
No, exactly. Like, it's really frustrating when people think that I would. My husband is a fucking carnivore.
He had a groom steak.
Yeah.
With
With a sword in it.
At our wedding, we had a 3-tiered groom steak that was held together with a sword.
I remember
Like,
during
I don't
the
care
bachelorette
if
thing,
other
you're like,
people
I'm looking for
eat
a
meat.
sword.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm
Does anyone
sorry.
know where to get a sword for our groom steak?
I'm like, call
Yeah.
Steven.
Whosoever removes this sword from the slab of
But of
beef
course,
shall
it's
be king of
like, 'cause he
England.
got on a table or something and went like,
he stood up and like took out the sword
Highlandered him.
and like cut the meat with the sword. It was awesome. It was badass.
And then
I
everyone's
told
like,
him.
there could be only one. We're like, well, it's funny.
Yeah, I told him, I was like, if you're gonna do a groom steak, you better not be a pussy about it. Like, this needs to be tiered.
Yeah.
Because my cake is tiered, yours better be
It
tiered.
was tiered. There were spikes on the handle.
Yeah.
It was an intense experience
It
just
was like
watching
a
it.
guar sword.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, but I thought it was hilarious.
The head was still attached to the beast.
So clearly, honestly, it offends me when people feel the need to apologize. It's like, man, come on.
I actually
pansy
get more
about
offended
it.
whenever
Like,
they think that I'm going to get offended. I think.
Yeah,
but I
it's
was
like-
I was going to a comic book convention because I wanted to see Adam West, just so I could be like Adam West. Everyone knows here. Yes. Yeah. But on the way to go get some lunch between me yelling at like Battlestar Galactica geeks and stuff like that.
I love Battlestar Galactica. I'm one of those
Well,
geeks.
like old Battlestar Galactica
I've
actors were
actually
there. I'm
never
like,
seen
no one
those.
remembers who you are. That's the kind of douche I am whenever no one knows me. It's just like, you don't know me. I don't care. My friend brought another friend that, she's like, he's really cool. I'm like, I judge people really easy, but so we'll see. And he was really neat and fun, but then he got to the point where we were about to go lunch, and I'm like, well, as long as I can eat, I'm fine. And my friend goes, she's a vegetarian. He goes, are you a vegetarian or do you eat fish? And I went, if I ate fish, don't you think I'd say I was pescatarian? Like, I got like very pissed over it. I'm like, I'm a vegetarian.
there is a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the veggies or Kyle, who's an engineer up there, Kyle Phillips, I believe. He's like, oh, I'm a vegetarian, but I eat fish. I'm like, you're not a vegetarian.
You're a pescatarian.
You bastards.
Also, Kyle is one of those people that, like, he's intelligent, but then, like, he won't know things. And I'm like, what? Like, he had never eaten goat cheese. And I'm like, how are you a vegetarian and you've never eaten goat cheese? I mean, goat cheese is badass.
It's
and
delicious.
so I actually went on our lunch break and I went to Kroger and I bought a thing of goat cheese. And I was like, this is goat cheese. And he was like, oh, it just tastes like cream cheese. And I was like, what? I got so pissed. I was like, what the fuck? You have no palate. You have no palate. There's such a huge difference between goat cheese and cream cheese.
So young.
Ungrateful. So young. Yeah, he is kind of young. He's, how old is he? 21,
22, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not that young.
He's like 4 years old, younger than us.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. He's more than a decade younger than me, so y'all can fuck off.
Well, you're just old.
Shut up.
Well, if it helps mentally, we're a hell of a lot older than you.
Yeah, that's
Oh, I know you think that's true. All right, I have a question
true. Okay.
to put us back on track, if we were ever on track. And I bring this up. This comes from Young Money Escobar, which is a
What up, Young
crazy,
Money?
crazy name.
We like
I love
Young
that.
Money.
Young Money Escobar.
His name is really Charles.
And I bring this.
I learned
Oh, really?
it because I've been chatting with people on our little hiatus, and I'm like, I know your name's Charles.
I'm going to call him.
That's my
Chaz.
uncle's name.
Young Money.
I'm going to call him Chaz Money.
Young Money Chaz.
Young Money Escobar.
And I bring this up because another show I frickin' think is awesome, and it's actually one of my favorite performances of yours. Was which episode of Beck did you love the most, and why?
I still haven't seen that.
Oh, you have to. You should.
It would.
You really should.
The Grateful Sound episodes were my favorite because that's. I don't want. It'll be a spoiler. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Okay, my ears are covered.
It's the Grateful Sound episode whenever Koyuki and Maho kiss in the woods, like they're running
Yeah.
away from all the fans or whatever,
Yep.
and they kiss. It's so sweet, and I love the way that it's animated because they look so awkward.
Yeah.
Because they're like, these like 15-year-old kids,
Yeah.
like, and it's so intense and emotional, but they didn't try to play it up like sexy or whatever. It was just awkward and sweet, and I thought it was so great. I love that episode. I love that episode.
I can't believe I actually
Spoiler
did come.
over.
Well, no, you're like, and I love that episode. I'm like, and I'm good.
I love your performance in that. That was one of the first things I ever saw that you were in.
Thank you. That's one of those characters that has a serious just. There were so many parallels in Maho's life that matched with mine that it was just uncanny. It was like,
That was one of the first times I ever sat down and had a talk with you, actually, was at
Yeah.
Okatron. Because I sat down and I was talking because I'd seen some of your work in Beck that week and was like, God, you sound amazing in that show. Can I just tell you? And I didn't really,
She said no.
And yeah, she said, no, you can't. Please don't speak.
don't speak to me. I don't speak.
But I was talking to you and I was like, what's great about that is it would really hammers that performance home is that the dynamic that she has with her brother in that show is very much turns out the dynamic you have
it's
with your
very
real brother.
much
And
like
I didn't
my
know
real brother,
Gino
yeah.
at the time, or that you had, or that you were, both of you kind of grew up for a time in Honduras before moving to the States.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, wow, you totally nailed that. Like there's totally this dynamic between the siblings where they, you have these siblings that are transplants from, another culture completely. And they're they're almost, they have this dynamic that's very specific to that kind of sibling.
It is very specific. It's very protective.
And it's so, it's amazing. And it came
Well, and
across
it's
so
funny
well.
too because my brother is also a guitarist, and
Yeah.
like was totally when I was that age, it was like, oh, so you're Gino's sister, oh, the guitarist sister, oh, blah, blah, blah. Like, so I totally understood that mentality of it too.
Was that real hard because it hit so close to home? I mean, was it harder to act in it, or because
honestly. If it weren't for the fact that it hit so close to home, it would have been much harder. Because I wouldn't have had as much to draw from. Because that was my first character that I ever had that was just in my natural voice. Before that, I had only had like Nina Tucker in Full Metal Alchemist, Elsa in Gunslinger Girl, and Yue and Negima. So all these little girls, and I had to affect my voice. And it was the first time that I was just there. It was just me, just my voice. And I felt naked. Like it was so awkward. Like I didn't know how to voice act just as me.
Had you worked with Bevins before?
Yeah, actually, Bevins was one of the. You know how Bevins, he has this thing where he has like a group of Walla people.
Yeah.
Where he will like train up or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was one of those Walla people. And so, I had worked
noticed
with a lot
I've
in
noticed
Walla.
that, but I was forced to, not say forced, but they just stuck me with him for all 4 months of my internship, and I'm like, it's the same people. It's weird. But then he started another show, and he was bringing those people that he had used from that Walla to bigger roles. I'm like, weird.
No, it's like a little training ground. He treats it as a training ground, which I appreciate because I learned a lot.
Well, it's much easier than like, oh, well, you sounded really good, and you're cool with like 50 hours, right?
Right? Yeah.
Is it off? No, most of it's on camera, so flat matching. Woo!
Yeah.
You can do this. And cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he actually mentioned that.
It was my first time to work with Taliesin, though.
When I...
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, I that's...
And
that's right.
Taliesin, I think for the majority of that, Taliesin was the one that directed me.
Okay.
There was something that Bevins mentioned, because I was in the middle of casting another show, and I was casting it with another director, and Bevins is like, it's a really different machine when you have to worry about not only my opinion, the producer's opinion, but another director's opinion. And he brought Beck up as a shining example, and he brought up you and how Taliesin felt so strongly about casting you. And he's like, I see that, but I'm just a little convinced. Like, well, you're not hearing what I'm hearing. And Bevins, it took just one session, and then listening to you, and he's like, you're right, I'm an idiot. Which is very rare for Bevins to say.
Yes, very, very rare.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, for me, another thing that kind of worked in my favor was that it was singing. And just strangely enough, I think I sound a lot like the Japanese girl, like as far as the singing. The first time that I heard her sing, I was like, oh, I got this.
Well, I don't know. I didn't watch many Funimation titles before Steven started working there. And then I was still doing just while I hadn't even started my internship yet, and I heard you in Heroic Age as Nobi. So who is that? It's Brina. I'm like, I've met Brina. That doesn't sound like it. And it was even before they put the effect on, the little effect that they did on it. But I'm like, wow. All right, we have more. And okay, there are a lot of really cool questions in here, but I like this one because it's random. There are a lot of prank questions for you and me, and then you regarding me and her.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get to those.
Okay, this is from Jack C, which I can only assume is Jack Cox.
Yay!
That guy.
We love Jack.
Brina, if you could be a man for one day, what would you do?
If I could be a man for one day, what would
penis.
I do? Wow. I'd fuck so many chicks. No, I'm just kidding.
This has gotten so awkward.
Wow, yeah, that is a really random question.
Pee standing up. And then I'd be like, all right, I'm ready to go back.
Yeah, I really would not want to be a guy.
I'm very much a tomboy as it is, and I think that's as close as mannish as I want to get.
Yeah, I voice a lot of dudes, and I'm cool with that. I really would not ever want to be a dude. Dude life sucks.
But it also helps. You're a super pretty chick, so being on the other side of it, I'm comfortable enough with whatever I am right now to say, yes, you're a very attractive lady.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know. This week I'm straight. Next week, who knows? But,
does your husband know that it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Thank God he can't hear this. Wait, what?
No, I like to make that joke, and we do it all the time. It's like, so yeah, we totally. Or after whatever the bachelorette party was before your nuptials.
Yes, that was a great time.
And it just became like Steven's like, "Are you coming home tonight?" So I'm like, "Well, I'm with a bunch of ladies. What do you think?" He's like, "No." And they're all. He's like, "Yeah, Colleen, Trina. Yeah, you're not coming home."
Yeah, that was a great night.
That was a. You know, because we started it at 6 o'clock.
Well, yeah, and it was so random, and all of our plans had to change because we were gonna do the laid back,
hang out
outdoor, grill some veggies and whatever. And then it rained, and so we're like, let's do crazy shit.
So it became bring over a little potluck thing, bring over your own little thing, and then
a little food,
yeah. Christy brought over awesome big ass cookies and all that stuff, and then it became
and your incredible guac.
Which
this isn't a euphemism for anything, is it? I mean, that's okay. Because Incredible Guac is a pretty awesome nickname for something.
That would be a nickname for something.
Yeah, it would be a good nickname for an STD.
It makes it sound gangrenous.
Yeah, guacamole.
My guac.
No,
you want to suck my guac, baby? Yeah.
Avocados with lime juice, tomato, onion. That is what I am referring to, and she's referring to. Nothing sexual.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. I mean, that actually sounds pretty good.
It was delicious. But then it turned into like more people started coming over, and then we kept drinking.
And turns out Trina's an incredible bartender.
Yeah, she
It
is.
was at her place, and she just kept serving everyone drinks.
I was like, you look a little low. You want a little top off? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay.
Yeah, and those are all the details you'll get.
Yeah. Everything else,
Rest of it is not.
You had to be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not appropriate.
The movie
for air.
will be coming out next summer.
Okay, well, this is a good question from Jackie. During conversations with people, serious or not, do you find yourself using character voices? And if so, which ones tend to appear more often?
My brother always calls me out and says that I'm using my Tamama voice. Just whenever I'll say something, like if I'm trying to be whiny or something, if I'm like, man, this is stupid. Or I don't know. I'm trying to think of examples. That's probably the one that comes out the most. Though whenever I was voicing Chopper when we first started, since we were trying to play the catch-up game with all the stuff that was having to go on to broadcast.
Yeah.
We were recording in like 3 different booths at one time, and so I was there like day in and day out, just Chopper all the time, and my voice actually got higher in those weeks that I was doing that. So if I was ever like at a bar at a concert or anything in those weeks, I would anytime I would have to raise my voice, I'd be like, hey, so what kind of drink do you want? Like, just immediately like go into Chopper voice, and I really didn't ever mean to. It was just that's where my voice was starting to naturally lie, because that's what I was doing all the time.
The same thing happened with me, because about the same time, I started voicing Inaru One Piece, and it was like 3 different booths at the same time, and my voice got deeper. My voice got noticeably deeper because I had to push it so low for that, and my voice has never gotten quite back to as high as it was before then. I mean, it's weird. My voice has been, Inaru kind of, I don't know, popped my vocal cherry in some respects, but it's crazy. But yeah, it made me a man, yes.
Man.
Made me a man. You use the holo voice with me occasionally.
I do?
You do. You don't realize you're doing it, but especially you kind of fall into that pattern of almost that. And it's me. I think what you're trying to do is mock me by adopting this kind of this overly exalted tone, which I don't actually have. I can do it. I don't think I sound elegant or intelligent. I mean, I use big words occasionally.
That's not what I was saying.
No.
I don't think. Well, that's what I mean by exalted speech. But I think to mock. It's really funny when you try to do that. It ends up sounding like holo, which I think is really funny.
What I think is really funny is whenever we first started doing Spice and Wolf, and we were talking about like, oh my god, it's so fun that we're 2 leads together, and talking about the characters, and you were like, yeah. We both started talking about how much of a bitch Holo was, and how she was just so manipulative, but like so cool at the same time. And you were like, yeah, it really, yeah, it's crazy. It just reminds me so much of our relationship.
Well,
and I was like, yeah, wait.
Don't you love it? I was in an audition yesterday, and Bevins is trying to give me, the description of the character, and she is very much a bitch. And he's like, now, I want you to search deep. Deep. And this was completely flat, like deep. Really deep. And the engineer's even like, it's funny because you're kind of a bitch. And I'm like, well, you know what, Bevins? People have referred to me as the female you, so what does that say? He's like, I'm a bitch. I'm a male bitch.
Bevins told me once we were doing Shiguri and the villain in that. Yeah, Shiguri! Seganirako was the character in that. And he's not the bad guy because there is no good guy in that show. But they were, he was a little effete. He was a little on the swishy side sometimes because he had a certain way of speaking. So, very normal for me. And which is funny because at some point Bevins just being Bevins is like, nope, come back in for it. Too much, too gay. I want to take all the gay out of that booth right now. Wait, where did Tatum go? And I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch.
Of course he means it in love.
Of course he means it in love, because if he didn't, I'd kill him.
All right.
No, really.
Question for Tatum.
Question for me?
From Young Money Escobar.
From Chaz.
Like that.
Chaz Money.
But okay, question for Tatum, all caps. And then, if Brina and Terri pranked you, how would you get back at them? Then you can ask.
That's what I would like to know.
How would you get back at them?
Well, I would bide my time. I would wait. I would wait in the dark.
For way too long.
For a long time.
Dude, like one of us or both of us will
drives
be
you
dead by the
crazy.
time like you're ready for your prank.
Yeah,
Maybe
seriously.
Because revenge is a dish best served cold.
That's what a lot of movies have said, yeah.
That's right. Laugh it up now. Laugh it up now. I might not have anything in the works for Anime Central, and you might walk away
upset.
very, very upset.
Because
and
I Brina do her sad face.
I don't want you to be
Terrifying
upset,
face.
but maybe I do want you to be upset. That's weird. Maybe that's my prank. Maybe I don't know. It
That's
could
a
go
lame ass
anywhere.
prank, dude.
I know, but the fact that it could make you say that, I'm like, but it's frustrated
dude,
you.
don't puss out. Come on.
Oh well, I'm not committing one way or the other because that would give up the game. So I would do if I were going to prank. If as Young Money Escobar is asking me, you both did prank me, and since one of you has rather well, that was a damn good prank. Even though I'm still reeling from it all this time later. Like a year and a half later.
2 years ago, dude.
Yeah, it was a damn
And
good
I
prank.
gave you beer and ice cream. Come on.
How mad can you
That
be?
doesn't like
I think
that.
that
And $5.
And
I think
so
that's
you
become
have to tell me that
another
once.
internet sensation. There's more than one video now of you telling that story.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so
There
because
is.
I'm that bored a lot of the time. Where I'm just
You
like,
just like
Let me
search
tell.
me.
I want to tell
searched-
my side of the story of this because my side of the story is not out there yet, and I want it to be out
yeah,
there.
it is. You've told it here before.
Have I told it here before? Well, now that you're in the room, let me tell it again.
Great.
Because no, it's a great
Here's
story.
what you did.
Okay, here's what happened. So this was like a Friday night. Joshua and I were out eating dinner, and
Like you do.
on the way back home, I noticed you had tried to call me, and I saw a message, and I was listening to your voicemail as we pulled up to the house. And apparently, you left the message like an hour or two before, and I just hadn't gotten it, hadn't heard the phone in the restaurant. And I hear this, here's Brina going, "Hey, Tatum, Gino and I are in town, and we're doing like some art exhibit thing. We knew your house is close by. We couldn't remember how to get there. Call us. We want to hang out." And so I'm like, I'll call him when we get to the house, because we're just now pulling up. And I go to unlock the door, and the front door is not locked all the way. Like the bolt is not locked, and I know I locked that bolt. I locked that bolt religiously.
Well, if
every
it's
time.
the deadbolt, yeah, you remember when
And
you do
you
that.
remember because it's a
You
whole
go.
extra movement, and so but like the bottom lock is locked, and I'm like, Joshua, did you come into the house after me once we got out to get something? Like, did you leave your phone? He's like, I don't think so. I'm like, huh? No, the door's locked, but the bolt wasn't locked. Oh, no big deal. And I open the door. And instantly notice something like is awry because there are books.
Maybe it was a ghost.
The ghost with $5 to spare. There were books on the coffee table that were like laid out, obviously not where I had left them. And there was a $5 bill on the couch with this really psychotic scroll note. I mean, it was like psycho scroll. It wasn't
think I
pretty.
wrote
It
it
wasn't
with-
cursive. It
well-
was like you wrote it with your toes.
What's hilarious is I'm pretty sure I just wrote it normally. That's just what my writing looks like.
Yeah.
Got doctor writing.
But here's the thing. It was like this piece of scrap Post-it note because there was like numbers on the back of it that made no sense. And on the front of it
That was
a note.
001,
Yeah.
001.
And, yeah, something like that. It was like 10859, whatever the hell. It was like it's some string of numbers. And it wasn't a phone number. There was like too few of them to be a phone number. I don't know what the hell it was. But there on the front was in psycho scroll was like, "We had fun, thanks." And here it was on this $5 bill. I'm like, "What the hell is this?" And I immediately think that it's our friends Mike and Denise because Denise and I were kind of engaged in a bit of a prank war at the time, and I thought,
I don't
well,
know. That's kind of committed. They live far.
they do, but there's a pool hall not very far from us that they go to occasionally. I'm like, and I kept thinking, well, if the kid was with the grandparents tonight and they went out to this billiard place they like to play, chances are they would have done this. So I'm like, so I tried to call them. Well, at first I called you, and because I thought, well, this has got to be you, but I'm like, well, but she said didn't remember where we lived. But I bet it's her because this is something she would do. But then, of course, after talking on the phone with you for like 5 minutes, you're like, oh my God, that is freaky, dude. That is really crazy. It's got to be someone's probably playing a prank on you, but that's kind of weird. I think they like took it too far, and I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm a little pissed right now. And such is her acting ability that I was as convinced that she couldn't have done it after talking to her as I was convinced that she did do it before talking to her. And I was like, son of a bitch, who did this? So I tried to call Denise, and she's not answering her phone, which is rare. because she's always got her cell phone on her. I'm like, they're avoiding my calls. Ha ha ha. Yes, it's them. They're laughing at me right now. And the whole time, but I'm still not sure. And then I end up going through all this crap, calling everybody I know. I try to call Denise's house phone because I'm like, well, I don't use that very often. So I scrolled through it in my contacts list and I'm just, Denise, click, and I call. And like somebody very tired, and it sounds like Denise, picks up the phone, is like, hello? Like, Denise! Yeah? Were you in my house tonight? Seriously, just don't fuck around. Were you in my house tonight?
I don't know how I would have reacted to waking up to that.
What? Who is this? I'm like, Michael? And I'm like, I'm clearly being fucked with now. I'm like, Michael Tatum? Like one of your best friends? What the fuck got into you tonight? And she's all, oh, Michael Tatum! Oh my God, how are you? And as the voice kind of brightens to life, I realize it is not Denise. It is a Denise I knew 5 years ago, an old boss, as a matter of fact, who now like lives in New York or Chicago or wherever. And I'm like, I've woken her up and I'm like, oh, hi Denise, how are you? And so I have this like 20-minute conversation with her.
Horrible person you are.
It was. And I had to explain to her, like, she's like, what's going on? And I'm like, well, someone's broken into my house and like left some weird stuff and I don't know, blah, 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 blah. And so I'm sitting there and I talk with her and that kind of puts me in a slightly better mood because up until that point I had been pissed. I was so mad that I thought someone had just broken into my house to be, I thought like kids up the road had done this just to freak us out. You know, it was weird. Yeah. And I thought, and I noticed that the back door was unlocked. And, you know, it's kind of hard to get into our backyard, but you can manage it if you know how. And if that fucking back door is unlocked, you just walk right in. And Joshua had left it unlocked. And so I was like, this is why, this is how they got in. God damn it. And we had this huge fight about it, yes, yeah, you smile now. But
I'm sure she smiled then.
We had this huge fight about it.
Giggling the whole time shit was going on.
We had this huge fight about it, and he, to appease me, finally called, because we couldn't get a hold of anybody. And we finally got a hold of Denise, the real, the Denise I suspected, and it clearly wasn't her, because she had an alibi, and she was freaked out too. And then when we found the beer and the ice cream, that's when I was like, oh, okay, we're calling the fucking cops, because this is some psycho, I don't know what the hell, someone's...
Well, and I left a note on the ice cream too.
That's why I called the cops. Just to have this note in pen scrawled in the little ice, it's like, for Michael. Yeah. But it was this horrible, you might as well have left a dagger sticking in on it or something. It was really freaky looking.
Guys totally should have done that.
That would have been a great idea.
And so the police actually come, and the police are looking around, and the guy is really nice about it, but he's like, this is bound to be someone you know, because nothing is missing, and nothing is, nothing is really vandalized.
Matter of fact, you gained things.
Yeah. And so he left and said, before you file a report, make sure it's no one you know, because once we kind of file a report, we can't, we have to go through with it and arrest whoever we find. And I'm like, I don't care, fuck, I'm doing it anyway. But
that would have been hilarious.
That would have been really, I should have done it now. I would have been
proud of that police record. Yeah.
But then finally, what was it 3 hours later, 4 hours later, you call me back and you're like, oh.
Yeah. Was it that long?
It felt like an eternity, because it was a difference between, it was like, she forgot. And when she calls me back, this is what she pulls. It wasn't this, ha ha, it was me. It was like, Tatum, did they leave stuff in your fridge? I'm like, yes, they did. They left beer and they left ice cream. And she was like, oh my God, that's just weird. I've gotten back to my apartment. Someone's done the same thing to me. And I'm like, this is bullshit. What the fuck is going on? And then she just starts laughing like that and going, yeah, no, it's just me. Oh my God, I can't believe you're so freaked out about this. We just broke into your house. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
You're the douchebag who left your window open.
I
would never call the cops, because anytime I've legitimately know something fucked up happened, the cops be like, it sucks.
Well, that's true.
No, someone pranked, they say prank, but UIL, you're supposed to mess with your fellow theater people's cars and houses and stuff, and they toilet papered not only my house, my boyfriend's place, stuff like that. And so when someone went I did it as a joke, I stole their car. I stole their car with a friend, went back to my place with their car, saran wrapped it from underneath and on top to where they couldn't get in. I crawled back in through the window, everything. And, and it turns out they didn't do it. So,
oh, shit.
They don't lie to me.
Wow.
But anyways, changing the subject.
From stealing cars to...
Yeah, that. I guess
I don't think I even answered the prank question because I can't. Because I don't want you to...
Well, there was a...
Dude, that was so long ago.
There was one... Let me see. There was the question from Ben, which I guess inspired Young Money to ask the question that I asked, but he was like, a quick question for Terri and Brina. If you could prank Tatum right now, what would you do?
I mean, the clown thing is too easy.
And it's mean. The clown thing is not funny. It's mean. Screw you.
I'll agree. But I don't know, like watching like Todd's little green-eyed clown movie with you, and then watching like Fear.
Did you watch the whole movie?
I did. I was very proud of myself.
That's so sweet. That's really sweet that you did that.
I did. But
Yeah, but then
I
Todd
think
came in, he's like, so what'd you think? And he's like, if you ever show up in that fucking makeup, I will beat the shit out of you. And Todd's like,
I think I scared Todd. I was like, no, serious, I love you. It was great work, but don't ever fucking wear that outfit in front of me, ever. And Todd kind of looked at me, he's like, you're serious, aren't you? I'm like, I am. I'm sorry. It's just a part of me. You won't want to see me when I'm angry. Yeah.
but then
I don't even know where that comes from. I'm just terrified of clowns. They're evil.
well,
They're gonna
a
kill
lot
all
of
us.
people have that fear. They don't know where it comes from. I think it's just because a lot of us.
Phobia. Just
I don't know. I'm not afraid of a lot, but clowns never been afraid of clowns.
I'm
afraid of heights, but only heights that don't have a railing.
That makes sense.
But you know what? That's not even really a phobia. That's a pretty practical fear because you want to be
I'm a
afraid.
pretty practical person.
You want to be afraid of falling
Not you.
off a fucking cliff. I mean, don't you? I mean, you don't want to not have that fear. You're like, no, there's nothing to it. Just go right off. No, that's a useful fear. Being afraid of clowns is absurd. I might as well be afraid of cars. Like
cars would be more practical.
I actually am.
Suppose, but not
I'm
this,
a very terrible passenger. Like, I got hit by a car when I was 13. So yeah, little bit of a justified phobia there. But like sitting with like my mom while she's driving, and I start like digging my like nails into my palm, and I'm just, oh god, you're entirely too close. Like I twitch. She's like, calm down. I'm like, go speed limit. Oh god. Like, yeah, I'm that passenger, but which is why I go the speed limit and make everyone buckle up, but I'm the weirdo.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm safe, and I don't want you to die.
You're such a buzzkill.
Well, like, I was in the back seat with Mike, but of course Steven sat up front because they were just like, love you. But Mike was going like 20 over, and I'm just... I love Mike. I won't say anything. I'm just
Well, I'm one of those people that drives the speed limit as well, and I do think it's funny. Like if someone's following me, they're like, "God, you drive so slow," and I'm like, "You mean legally?"
you mean right at the limit?
Yeah.
That's how I am. I drive like a grandma. I'm like,
no, you don't.
Totally. Yeah,
anytime we take two cars, you guys always get there before me. And you're like, because you're driving so slow.
No, I don't.
You're one of the douchebags. It's like, what's the matter, Grandma?
No, I'm not.
What's the matter? You afraid of cars? You afraid to take it to the limit?
Taking it to the limit.
Take it to the limit. Right, enough of that. So, okay, so what would you do if you were going to prank me again?
What?
Like right now? Oh, goodness. I would probably have, while I'm here, I would have Gino drive to your house and leave an ice cream jug filled with fake blood and stabbed with a knife on your porch.
Nice.
That was yesterday.
I don't know. I'm not a good pranker. Like I like stupid little pranks. Like I've pranked like coworkers and stuff like that. But for the most part, I'm just not a pranker. I'm a big set me up for a nice joke kind of person. I'm not a big pranker.
Speaking of which, that reminds me, wasn't the original idea when you guys found out that you could get into my house when the windows were unlocked? Wasn't the original idea to just turn the lights off and crouch in the dark waiting for me to go?
We did think about that. We thought about that for like 2 seconds, because then we were like, dude, Tatum would beat the shit out of us. Like if we just like jumped out of nowhere, like no. And I think Gino even said that. Gino was like, dude, he might have a gun. I don't know. It is Texas. We all have guns.
I choose not to answer that question. Because you don't know one way or the other.
Yeah. I mean, you're an intimidating guy. Like, I wouldn't want to
I'm intimidating.
Get
You're
punched.
so full of shit.
Physically intimidating.
Okay,
not in any other way.
Well,
but
yeah.
Clowns hate me. Clowns.
No, they don't until after,
Well, when I start wailing on them.
the restraining order.
Now, okay, you're so afraid of clowns, but you were the Joker for Halloween.
That's different. See, to me, that's not a clown. Like, it has to be like clowns that look scary, like that they make up to look scary. Don't do it for me.
So, Killer Clowns from Outer Space does nothing.
Well, okay,
No, the guy that he beat up was wearing that mask.
Yeah, that's different. I mean, it's hard to explain. Like, the Joker does not look like a clown to me. He looks like a guy in makeup, which is different. It's weird. He's
a guy with a painted face. He's not a clown.
He's definitely a clown. I mean, he's definitely an evil clown.
He looks insane.
He looks just like some crazy guy.
It's like a male Harlequin.
But the guy, for me, it's like the classical circus clown with even just talking about
either the
with like
smile
the
or the
buttons and the smile and
or
the hat
frown
and the big shoes. You have to have all of it together. Like, if I see some woman like at a kid's birthday party that's just got a little bit of clown makeup on, it doesn't freak me out. But if it's like Bozo the clown,
like straight up hardcore,
that with the wig
like
and everything. Pennywise, especially that is.
Well, that's just Tim Curry being
Tim Curry. So good at being creepy.
Yes,
oh my God.
he is. God, yes, he is.
He's so good.
But that's what
he's actually more terrifying whenever like he's supposed to be like a good guy. I'm like, this
is wrong. This is wrong.
Any minute he's gonna be like, I'm the bad guy. I'm like, I knew it. No,
he was amazing in Legend. Oh my God, that's one of my favorite movies.
That's a beautiful movie, isn't it?
So good,
God,
and he was so good in it.
Yeah. Oof. And that makeup, my God, how did he go around
I know
with
the makeup was amazing,
horns?
and that was like, wasn't that filmed in the 80s?
Yeah, it was like mid-80s.
And like the hands are what get me.
It was like early because
was it even earlier than that?
Me and Sarah was still like teenagers.
Yeah, she was teeny tiny. Yeah, that was like one of Tom Cruise's first movies. But yeah, like his hands are what get me because like clearly he has like gloves on to make his hands that big because he's a tiny man.
Yeah.
So his hands are not that thick.
Well, and he's on these like stilt like things because they've got the joint and everything.
But when you look at his hands, it looks like his hands. Like it doesn't look like he has some sort of like
it's
costume.
Amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a moment in that film. It's very brief. It's right when they're about to go, like they're going through the bog. To get to like the entrance, and I think she's called Meg Rucklebone or something. The witch, Mucklebone.
Yeah,
I
think so.
That pops up out of the.
It's been so
oh
long.
God, she is terrifying.
Terrifies me. And I grew up with. I remember this is just kind of a totally unrelated story, but just speaking of fears and stuff like that, this is one that still creeps me out, even though it's just kind of one of those childish fears. I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of cute and funny, but actually, if I saw that would creep me out. But there was. I did a report on Russia for some class I was in, and we had to like look up just do a kind of survey of the country, and I looked up some stuff on them and found a bunch of folklore and found the story of Baba Yaga, who's a sort of Russian boogeyman. She's this hag, this witch that has metal teeth. She eats children. She uses their leftover bones to make a fence around this property. She has this house, this hut, little tiny like thatch roof hut that stands on giant chicken feet, and the only way to get in the house, because inside the house it's almost like the TARDIS. Inside is infinitely large, and it's got hordes and hordes of treasure.
You just showed your
cheat
nerd.
cards. Yeah, I know. Oh, that showed my nerd. Nothing before now.
I'm a doctor. I'm a nerd just pointing out that I even knew what a TARDIS was. But I'm a Doctor Who nerd. We nerd out about Doctor Who
dimensions
together.
in space.
Well, yeah, but because we're girls, it doesn't matter because we're still. That makes us cooler. Actually, being geeky.
Actually, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Nerdy
Guys
girls are, like,
apparently that's the rule. When guys are geeky, we're not hot. When girls are geeky, they're exceptionally hot. That seems like a double standard for me.
I know I'm a total geek. They're like, no, you don't understand. We like that.
I find geek guys, can be cute. There's no, I like
nerdy guys.
Yeah, I like
Paul's
nerdy
a nerd.
guys.
My husband's
Paul's
a nerd.
totally a nerd, and he's cute.
Well, Steven's just Joe six pack.
Yeah, Steven's totally normal.
Mr. Like, I don't want to read. I'm going to the gym.
I'm going to the gym and I'm going to watch this televised sports game. So she is. So Baba Yaga, has this hut on Chicken Beach. She rides around.
I know, it's a great name.
And she rides around like on a mortar and pestle or something. That's like her thing, her conveyance. And this is this whole story about she was like this boogeyman. She lived in the mountains and she would eat kids and it was just crazy and it terrified me. And when I saw legend and just Meg Mucklebone or whatever that character's name was who appears briefly. That's exactly what I would picture Baba Yaga looking at my, that's exactly what I would picture in my head. Only she would have like a bear trap mouth because she had metal teeth. That was the big thing. She had metal teeth and you could hear them. You could hear the joints in it squealing every time she opened her mouth. Was a detail that they had. I'm like, man, they love to scare the shit out of kids with their fairy tales back in the day, didn't they?
Dude,
I kind of miss that.
Not like now,
dude. I think everybody is so like terrified of
watch movies that like now you watch like kids, whoa, I did not catch that, like Drop Dead Fred or something like that, like the
or
section
the Dark Crystal.
Yes.
Oh, the Dark Crystal.
Or
man, I watched that recently. The Skeksis. They are terrifying. Like those are horrifying looking.
The
creatures.
dinner scene when they're like totally that's frightening and disgusting.
Yeah,
and it's great.
And it's so good. Though my friend, one of my best friends, she's a makeup artist in LA. Lacey. She went to some talk or something with the guy who directed that, and somebody asked him something about like, oh, what was it like directing a children's movie? And he was like, that is not a children's movie.
It's not. No, that's what I love.
It's not. Like Labyrinth is a children's movie, maybe.
Kind of. Parents still felt compelled to like let us see that. But now it's like,
everything is so sugar-coated. We're raising a bunch of pussies, man.
Parents are too afraid of screwing up their children. Screw them up. Come on. That's what makes this
me up, and I'm awesome.
Yeah. My parents screwed me up. Look at me. I mean, like, we're going to have kids that are like...
Actually, maybe we should
Maybe that's a bad example. Yeah.
We were there, and then you went, mean.
Yeah.
Mean.
But no, seriously, I think people are way too...
People have kids and they go fucking crazy. Can I just say that? People have kids and they get this sense... And I'm just going to rant for a second. This is not to imply that everyone that has kids...
You're going to rant for a second.
...sucks. But
second in Tatum time.
But a lot of people, second in Tatum time, which means for like 45
Everybody
minutes.
Get a drink. Get ready.
But no, I run into a lot of people that have kids and everyone thinks their fucking kid is going to grow up to save the world. And so this kid's going to be perfect and this kid's, and that's cool. I'm just, in one respect, shut up.
I'm a mutant. They're going to join an academy where they feel welcomed.
But it's like, they just don't know where to draw the line. Like, where does being a good parent and a bad member of the society in which you're living in, where does that line? Because parents just seem to think that there's a bit on Family Guy where Brian learns he's got a kid and he just becomes this insufferable bastard. Like, he can't watch.
He will not be eating white bread.
Yeah. No. I think I know what's best for my kid. Thank you. And and he can't even have a...
people get into crazy ass fights over that. Because like I've had a couple of friends.
You're not a parent.
Yeah, no. And I've had a couple of friends.
You'll never understand it until you have children.
That have recently had children, and people will they'll do stuff like, oh, I'll just let him have a hot dog, and then like these mothers will just be like, I can't believe you let your child have a hot dog, oh my god, you're killing them. And it's like, fuck you, man, this is my kid. And even with names, like one of my friends had a kid recently, and like I don't remember her middle name, but it was Margaret something, and they were like, oh, you can't name your child that.
Why?
That's not a good name. And it's like, what?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Fuck you. I want to name my kid what I want to name my kid.
I want to name my kid fucking Inspector Jet Pirate. I will.
Yeah. Well, and I know Lucy Christian, who's with child, and she will burst at any moment. She is not telling anyone. They're not telling anyone what the name is.
She's smart.
Yeah, exactly, because people really feel like they know what's best for your kid. That's what drives me even more crazy.
Every parent who's been doing it for longer than a month feels like they fucking know everything.
Well, I mean, because especially the first few months, if you see any friend that says like, oh, like I'm not going to change that much. Yes, you will.
Yes, you will. Yes.
Yeah.
You'll become an insufferable prick.
Well, I honestly though, I think it might not be it's like the first few months, the mothers that I know, they may say like act like, oh yes, I'm saving the world by having this child, but like they're the ones like crying like at their children's nap time. Like, I mean, it's so stressful, and like they'll just have like these breakdowns of like, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh god, like it's just so terrifying.
Well, we got married, and my brother's girlfriend, I mean, they had a kid, and she was like, so when are you guys gonna? I'm like, no. And I went, well, if anything, I go, honestly, I see myself being a parent, but probably like adopt. She's like, why would you want to do that? And I'm like, because there's a lot of kids.
There's like a ridiculous amount of children who need.
I gave her like all this, because I've researched it. Although adopting in Texas is hard
and expensive.
Very, very, and
it's easy to have kids.
Yeah, that's the thing.
There are no requirements or qualifications for that at all.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of like
jumped through flaming hoops of hell to
like kind
adopt
of insulted her because they weren't planning on having my nephew. But I would much rather plan on adopting a kid than just kind of have it happen and just kind of accept it as an inevitability. I would much rather be planning for it.
Well,
it's just not logical.
Planning, I mean, for me personally, and I got very
Spock. I'm like,
I could understand. I could understand people wanting to have children. That makes perfect sense to me. But in this day and age, I would prefer personally. I mean, I think too many people are obsessed with having kids. And this doesn't apply to anyone I know personally, really.
Nothing.
I know people with
I will
kids.
say most of what I'm saying applies to the crazies.
Yeah, because the people I know with children are actually, I think, doing it correctly, and that aren't taking it so seriously. Like, oh my God, you'll never understand. They're good. They're good parents, and they're still
and the whole
cool to hang around.
The argument of like, you've never achieved anything in your life until you have a child, and it's like, really? Because I just won a Nobel Prize. Like, I mean, is that nothing?
I just ended starvation.
Yeah, but I've never had a kid.
But I've never had a kid, so you're right. This pales in comparison to what everyone else has done.
And we were at that. We were at a birthday party, and it was like everyone except for me, Steven, and like Joshua and Tatum were parents. And they're like, well, all my stories end with like poopy diapers and stuff, and I'd been drinking, and I went, well, all my stories end with disposable income.
No. It ended. That wasn't the delivery. The delivery was, well, all my stories end with disposable income.
When you retold it.
And then, I love that story. I use that all the time. I totally steal that. But getting back to the whole adoption thing, it's like there's so many kids out there that it breaks my heart to think of them as not having a home. That they were brought into this world by people that didn't give two shits, or maybe couldn't raise them, or whatever. Maybe their parents passed away.
There's
whatever.
so many reasons.
There's so many reasons. But kids that will never ever. That will be raised by the state for the rest of their lives. There will be so many chances that they won't have because they will never have been raised in a really nurturing atmosphere. Because the state isn't a nurturing atmosphere. I don't care how hard they try. No. It can't be. It's something of a nightmare, the system, from what I understand. But there's so many kids out there that even it's like if you're older than 10, no one wants to adopt you.
Well, because everyone wants, if they're going to adopt, they want a baby. They want them to make them feel like they're not adopted.
Do you think too many people have kids because they want to live vicariously through their children, and the kind of pressure that puts on the kid as they grow up? I'm like, well, no wonder so many people grow up screwed up. We're all trying to correct our parents' mistakes in life.
Well, and plus,
I think a lot of people seem to do that, and I'm like,
it's totally true, and that's why I'm so glad that my mom was such a badass. Like, she kind of was.
She really is.
Yeah. Okay. So a little backstory for those of you who don't know about my mother. My mother, she joined the Peace Corps and moved to Honduras. That's how she met my father, and her and my father formed a rock band and toured Central America. And now every time that I go down to Honduras and I'm introduced as Diana's daughter, they're like, "Ay, Dios mío, puedes cantar como tu madre!" Like, it's just like, oh my God, can you sing like your mother? She's like Madonna. Like, it's so ridiculous. Like,
I won't disagree with that. I heard your mom's.
She's incredible. And so she's had a very full, rich life. At the age of 60, she decided to completely change her career. She was a teacher for a while. She decided to change her career and become a nurse. So she was the oldest person in Weatherford College to ever get a nursing degree. And now she works for hospice. And like, awesome. She's so incredible. So like, as growing up, like, I never had that pressure. Like, she was kind of like, do whatever you want. Like,
she wasn't looking to you to.
Yeah,
she wanted you.
She was lived
comfortable.
Her life.
She was comfortable for you to live her own life because she wasn't trying to make up for any loss in her own.
Exactly.
Too many people do that, though. I think too many people have kids because they're just like, well, I've screwed up. Maybe I can make something, a little carbon copy of me that will have a chance.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I've never really thought about, my mom was always, well, you'll change your mind when you get older. I'm like, well, I'm older now, and I still don't want to have children, but I still want to adopt. My dad was adopted. That's a big thing for me, and his sister was adopted.
I would like to adopt one day. One day. I would. There are several major.
Paul and I have actually talked about it too. Like, we probably pop out a kid and then adopt one.
get the best of both worlds that way.
Yeah.
So let's see. Okay, we have more questions. We should probably.
Speaking of popping out children.
Speaking of popping out children.
Let's pop out some questions.
Okay, let's see.
Damn.
What have we got here that we haven't asked? Let me look.
Oh, there was a request for you to sing.
There was a request for you to sing, and I would love to hear you sing if you are
Sing
up for
anything
it.
you want. Jeez.
Well, why don't you? Do you have something you could sing just real quick? I mean, it doesn't have to be anything long or extensive or whatever, but it would be. I love to hear you sing. I think you've got a gorgeous voice, but you know that. I give you crap about it all the time of you being a diva, but the truth is you are fucking awesome, and yeah, I love your voice. That's the question. I'm gonna go with that one. Would you sing for us?
All right. Can I sing my favorite childhood theme song?
Sure.
Of course.
I've sang Captain Planet on this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just sang
Not well, but
not very well.
Yes.
Sometimes some crimes go slipping through the cracks, but these two gumshoes are picking up the slack. There's no case too big, no case too small. If you need help, just call Chip and Dale. Rescue Rangers, Chip and Dale. When there's danger, oh no, it never fails. They'll take the clues and find the where's and why's and who's. Chip and Dale. And then it keeps going forever.
You have made me a very happy man.
Yeah, I like the backup
digging
dancing.
it.
That was awesome.
No, the first thing I'm like, bam. Yeah. It could be in my head all day now.
Wow.
It's a great song. I love that song.
That's awesome.
I don't even remember that much about the show, but I love.
I remember it was about chipmunks, and there was Gadget, or no, what was her name? Like
It was
Gidget.
Oh, was it Gidget?
Gidget?
I think it's Gadget.
It was a girl.
Yeah.
I think maybe it was Gadget.
The blonde.
Uh-huh.
There was a
blonde
fly.
mouse.
Yeah, there was a fly.
Yeah.
that hung out with them.
I don't know. They were just. I was watching something. I think I was watching
There was
The
a
Simpsons.
fat mouse too. Maybe he was like a gerbil or something.
There was. Well, I was just thinking about that because, we were looking through On Demand. Occasionally, Steven and I look through On Demand and just watch the horrible previews. Like, okay, sorority girls. I won't be watching that. But there was a preview for the DuckTales movie, and I went, DuckTales, woo! Like that. And Steven's like, what the hell? I'm like diving in gold? Nothing?
DuckTales. I used to watch DuckTales.
Well, he didn't watch the movie.
I've never seen the movie. Now I watched
with Rick Taylor as a genie going.
I'd never seen the movie, but I loved the series when I was a kid. I used to watch it all the time. DuckTales.
All right, kids. We have a question from Donna Baker.
Yay!
Donna has a question for the two of you. What did you like about working on Holic?
The show, honestly. I mean, the show is just so good.
Yeah, what's not to like about working on that show? I really, except for the other cast
right.
members, which were a little.
Well, I run into
Especially that guy that played Domiki. Douche.
Yeah, and the director for a long time was just a total bitch. I'm so glad that we're done. No.
sarcasm.
Yeah, no,
Sarcasm.
How original.
The show is just really good, and I loved, like, in doing the research for it, I learned a lot about Japanese culture, which I thought was really awesome. I mean, I guess I always forget that I'm in the show too, because my characters they don't ever talk. I mean, they're always.
Yeah.
Well, one of them is always there. Moro is always there, but it's
kind of like my character. I mean, my character never talks
that's
either.
true, yeah.
He's occasionally offered like a monosyllabic.
Yeah, which do you remember like how much I would like be so specific about those monosyllabic
Yeah, it was really
things?
funny. Like I remember
I was like, there's a really specific way to do it, man.
there was a what or something we said at some point.
Yeah, it was something.
It was for the movie. It was for the OVA because it was the house. They were going into the house, as I recall, and it was like trying to do the what, and it was like 6 takes later we got it because close. It's still it's closer to it's this kind of what.
You just keep going. You just keep going up. You need to go down. It's still going up a little.
And it's funny, but that's a challenge because that character really, it's hard to convey so much with so little. And that was really Domiki. That's why Domiki is such an important role for me.
So those whats are so much more important than like it would be for any other character.
And Domiki was a very important character for me professionally because, I mean, one, I really loved the show and it was awesome. But too, having a character like that with so many restrictions, like he never raises his voice, he doesn't really speak, he speaks in very, very terse, precise sentences. There's not a lot of room to stretch your legs expressively. And so I had to kind of learn to really pare it down and like communicate a lot with a little, and that was fun. I got to learn.
No, it's a really good exercise.
Really was.
It was hard. I was really sad that I had to leave that show because the reason that I didn't direct the rest of it was because the second season of School Rumble came up.
Yeah.
And School Rumble is my baby.
That's your magnum opus.
So I just couldn't, I wasn't about to let anybody else touch that show. So I was like, okay. I've only done 8 episodes on Holic and the OVAs, so I'll give it to Monica. I trusted Monica.
I guess Monica can have
it. And Monica did a bang-up job. You have to remember, she was awesome. I mean, of course,
she
was great, and she loved the show as well. I think everyone loved that show. It was just so unique and quirky, and I love the animation style.
The animation is so. That's one of my favorite parts about it. Like, it's so cool and dark and like awkward.
And I say that it's very kind of it's got a very Alice in Wonderland kind of feel to it. You know? It's very strange that way, but that's what I love.
Speaking of Joel's show, Joel McDonald. His show Lobster Alice will be premiering,
in which he plays Salvador Dali.
Yeah, and he's totally growing out the mustache and
which anytime you know he's leaving the booth because you'll hear like someone like, "What's up, Pacho Villa?" It's like, that's clever.
Like, it's funny. I haven't already heard that.
But he works that mustache. It totally works for him in a creepy kind of way. You're
it doesn't affect me. My dad always had that mustache, except it was blonde. Like that was it. So I'm like, it's hey, Dad, what's up?
But Joel is just one of those
version of my dad right now.
Joel's one of those faces that just can pull off just anything almost. You think I'm like, dude, you could probably come in with a shaven head and like
actually that's true.
He's done that. The long hair.
The normal the close cropped hair, the shaven head, the mustache.
When I first met him, he was with it was either shaved head or like really, really short, and I saw his like picture on Facebook or something after that, and I was like, that is not the same person.
Yeah,
he showed me the long-haired picture of himself, like the one where he's like wearing the red.
Like the headshot.
That's the headshot. And he looks so serious. And
I know.
Steel, you know. And I'm like,
weird.
And I'm probably like, Joel, you probably ought not to have shown me that picture.
Yeah, and then you freaked him out. It was fun.
And then he changed his. he changed the picture. I'm like, aww.
You got more questions?
But we do have more questions. Let's see. What do we got here? We answered the Holic question, I think. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is a good one for you. This comes from Benjamin.
Silly Pants McGee. That's what I call him. Not Benjamin also.
Would you ever do modeling? Because Benjamin thinks you are so gorgeous and every single one of your headshots are just beautiful. And I would have to agree with him. I mean, clearly Benjamin is a man of taste.
Oh my God, thank you so much. That's so sweet. No, I would never do modeling. Well, honestly, modeling is a lot harder than people think it is, like than people give it credit for. Because when I did my bridal portraits,
which turned out
they turned out amazing. They looked so good. I mean, like, it's like straight up looks like the cover of Vogue or something. And I had nothing to do with it. Like, I picked out the dress. That was it. But, like, you know, my friend Lacey came down from Los Angeles for the wedding, and so she did my makeup for the bridal portraits and everything.
Yeah,
and then Leslie from Urban Photography, you guys should, if anyone lives in Dallas and needs headshots or anything, go to Urban Photography. She's incredible. But anyway, I mean, she literally moved, like, she would place every single part of my body, even down to my fingers, like, to make it look that good. Like, I didn't just fall into those poses and just go like, oh, look how beautiful I am. Like, I mean, it's like,
I've fallen.
I mean, whenever, like,
look, my hands should come to rest on my shoulder in exactly this way.
Yeah, like, there were these ones that were, like, where I was laying on a couch. And she would literally, like, come over and, like, pick me up, like, from my torso and, like, shift me, like, the way that she needed me to go.
Like a yoga instructor, like, all right.
Yeah, no, seriously. Like, I mean, I am not good at posing. Like, all those pictures that I post, like, on Facebook or whatever, like,
I think I proved it with our first shots of like, Josh was taking the pictures, was like, all right, do something, and Tatum and I are like,
what do we do?
Dude, it's so awkward. And my agent has tried to put me out, like, she'll, like, put me on auditions for print stuff. And, like, the print auditions are so awkward because you just walk in and then they're just like, okay, pose. And then you just have to, like, do these poses, and like they're like, do something different with your arms, and I'll just like stand there with like doing the robot or something, like trying to figure out like how to stand. It's awkward. Like I really respect models so much more now. It's an art. Like it is.
Oh,
they're not
absolutely,
just pretty. They know how to work that camera.
You just don't have the, I think, the patience.
No, I don't have the patience. And not to mention that it hurts. Like by the end of the day of like doing my bridal portraits, like I was sore. Like my back hurt and like having to do all those awkward.
Well, they're not natural poses.
Exactly.
They look very.
They
easy
look natural, but they're hard. Like to just stand, like sit there with your like spine twisted and then you're like face forward and then like slightly down for like hours. It is painful. Like it is not an easy job, and I would hate to do it. It's not fun.
In no way.
Like, now, granted, when I saw the final pictures, I was like, "Oh my god, these are incredible!" But man, the process to get there. First of all, I felt like an idiot the whole time because I didn't know what I was doing, and I was like so awkward. I was like, "Man, I don't know how to do any. I don't know how to move my body." Like, it's just not my thing. It's not my talent at all.
Well, the world has lost a beautiful model then. In your refusal to get into it, but because you're absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, thanks.
That's why. But I mean,
she's an impatient gorgeous.
She's an
Well, it's funny, but like your
gorgeous.
film stuff, like obviously, I've been seeing like little snapshots of your GameStop stuff.
Yeah.
But I was over at my mom's on Sunday because she made me a little birthday cake, which she always makes me a little. She's like, I made it for you. I'm like, I understand you made it for me, but it is a box cake, so I'm not going to be shocked by the cake. I love that you made me this cake, but I'm not going to be shocked by it.
Yeah, everyone knows what a box cake tastes like.
I mean, it's good, but whatever. But in the middle of her talking, she had the TV on, and quarter of my eye went, "Oh my God, it's Brina!" Like that again. Like I've seen the commercial how many times now, and my mom's like, "What?" I'm like, "We know her," and she's like, "Cool." Anyways, like I was saying, I'm like, no.
Like I was saying about this cake I made you.
But this cake I made you from a box.
But that drive time.
Yeah, drive time. Yeah.
I haven't seen the drive time.
Find a car yet? Yeah, well, she's got it on her blog or whatever.
I need to check it out. I never.
Yeah, I think I have it posted on my Facebook and on my fan page. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I think Tara posted it on my fan page.
How many fan pages do you have?
I don't know.
A lot. I'd be willing to
the
bet.
only one that I'm like affiliated with is the I Heart Brina Palencia, which is the one that Tara made, and she's the whole reason that I even like made my Facebook page for the fans. Like I have the one that's just like for like family and close friends, and then I have the one that's for fans, and then like I only made it because she was like, I made a fan page for you and I'm trying to friend you and you only friend people that you know and whatever. And I was like, all right, I guess I should probably, because she was kind of like the 20th person that was like, please make a Facebook for fans. And I was like, all right, I should probably do it.
I've actually bugged someone. I'm like, a fan is bugging me about you. I think it was Sabbath. I messaged him. I'm like, so this is very high school, but a fan told me to tell you that you need to create a Facebook page. And he's like, I'll get right on it. So you tell them that you told me what you needed to tell me and that it'll be up soon. And it was like very like dry. I'm like, okay. And it was up like 2 days later. They're like, hey, he's got a page. And I'm like, I know. I told him.
And I feel so dirty. Yeah, and there's like another fan page I think on Facebook, and then there's my actual like Brina Palencia Facebook page. That's
so weird
for fans.
Like, well, for both of you, because obviously, like I've got my That Anime Show page, and everyone knows I run it, and I also do the chat. Well, although Steven does it whenever we're recording. Yeah. Like you guys have got fan pages that obviously you're in no way affiliated with. You've got a website. You've got your Shadow King.
The Shadow followers are really, really sweet, but they're good about it. I go on there occasionally and we'll say hi to everybody, but I don't run it. My God, I couldn't run a website. Are you kidding me? I'm like, that's why I still only have the one. I don't even know how to make a website. I still have only the one Facebook page.
We have one.
I still have only the one Facebook page, and that's all I can do to keep up with because I'm like, I check it maybe once every couple of days.
Yeah, no, I'm really bad about checking my fan Facebook. Sorry, guys, but yeah.
Sorry, everyone.
Is that weird for you guys?
It was really weird for me at first. Mm-hmm. Like, whenever I very, very first started getting like fan notes or whatever, it freaked me out. I was like, why do you know who I am? And this is weird, and you creep me out. And I feel really bad because like I actually like unfriended someone on back when I used MySpace.
What's that?
I know, right? It's this archaic thing. But like, I actually unfriended somebody because it freaked me out so much. I was like, how do they? And like, Paul was my husband. Was kind of, well, he was my husband at the time, but he was like, this is really weird. And then even Gina was like, I don't like that. That's weird. And so I was like, okay, I guess I should unfriend him. And I just felt really bad about it. And I wish that I could know his real name. I know his name on MySpace was like Alligator or something. And I think
Find her, Alligator.
Yeah, I think his actual name is Al something. And I know he was from Florida, I think. And he had an alligator as his
Alligator from Florida.
Yeah. But if you're out there, you can be my friend again because I get it now. I didn't get it at the time. It really freaked me out.
It was weird.
I saw the freaking videos from Anime Boston, and Steven is very, very confused by this. He's like, there's a whole room of girls that are freaking out over Tatum. I just don't understand.
All the irony. But it's funny. I mean, I'll tell you, this is my experience at Anime Boston. When I had my solo panel, and this is easily the biggest solo panel I think I've ever done, and it was
solar panel,
crazy. Yeah. Solar panel. Yeah. It's a big place, so they take you. They're really good about having like security people with you, so that you can get from point A to point B on time without getting stopped.
That didn't help the rock star complex at all, did it?
Not really. Not really. It does. I really don't. I don't. It's whatever. But they take you through all these back corridors and stuff. And so you don't really have a chance to see like how many people are out, waiting or whatever for it to see you, like autograph signing sessions or whatever, because they're really good about taking the back way. And when I walked into this room, there was only like 20 people in there finishing up this. So I don't even remember what the panel was, and I was a couple minutes early, so I figured, that's 20 people. That's a good number, because a lot of cons I've been to, people just start trickling in at the end of one panel, and then you get up there, and then that's your audience. But then when this is over, they all left, and I was like, oh, no one's here. And it was a big room. I mean, it was a big ballroom with like, plenty of seats. And I'm like, oh well, it's happened before. So I'm like, well, I'll just get it. Who knows? I never know what to expect. So I just set up behind the mic and just waited just to see if anyone would trickle in. I'm like, well, it's just now 11 when I think it started, and then the staffers at the door kind of came in like, Mr. Tatum, can we start letting them in now? Because there's like a line. And I'm like, there's what? There's a line? Like, how big are we talking? They're like, it's pretty big. It's pretty big. I'm like, well, I guess we should start letting them in because it's time then. I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know people were waiting. And so they opened the doors, and these kids just started flooding in, and I'm like, oh my god, and that room like pretty much filled out.
Yeah, you showed me the picture. It was impressive.
In a few minutes.
Look at the video. They a couple of people.
It is crazy, and they were but it's so weird in some respects because and I love them. They were all so cool, and like no one is there to be a jerk. They're all just there to totally support me and stuff.
Be a jerk.
Yeah,
and, which is they're all really really supportive and respectful and just fun, but there's so many of them that I feel like I don't even have there are times it's weird getting used to the whole thing when almost anything you say like sparks off this bevy of shrieks. You're like, yes. Somebody comes up to me and is like, here, can I get like a picture of you holding my bunny? And I'm like, of course you can. Come up, and I get the bunny, and I'm like, because that's what I'm here for, right? And so I get the bunny and I take a picture, and everyone's like, everyone just goes nuts over that. I'm like, oh my god, this is weird. Like every move can spark like some big reaction from this huge group of kids. But they were all really cool. I mean, it was really funny, but I have never played a room that huge before, so I was terrified. Yeah. Up there going, oh my god, this is wow. I think that
at my first convention, which was Anime Boston, I was convinced that no one ever wanted to hear me speak. So whenever I was doing panels and everything with other people, I just let everybody else talk. Like I never spoke a word. And Rob McCollum was there, and I think we were doing the Beck panel. It was like me and Greg and Rob and Bevins, and like I was just letting them do everything. And then at one point, Rob was like, "Ever gonna chime in there, Brina? You gonna say anything ever?" And like all of my answers were just like one word, like, "Sure." Did you have fun playing Maho? Yes.
You're totally Andy Warholing
why would anyone want to hear me talk at all?
Yeah, because it's totally not what you're known for. It's totally not what you do for a living.
I know, like looking back at, and plus I guess the thing is like I was there for Beck, and so I was paired up with Greg, who has like just thousands of crazy.
Facebook's actually limited the amount of people he can have on his profile. He's like, so it turns out you can't have more than 5,000 people.
Wow.
Yeah, I totally know what that's like.
Yeah. No, so like I would have to do signings with him, and he was so sweet because he was trying so hard to like get people to like have me sign stuff, even though they didn't give a shit who I was. So like these girls would like come up and be like shaking and be like, "Oh my God, I love you, Greg Ayers," and then just kind of like give me like this dirty look, like, "Why are you here?" And then Greg would be like, "Look, you should have Brina sign this too because she's awesome," and they would just like reluctantly like move their stuff over.
Greg Ayers wants you to sign my stuff. I suppose I'll let Greg Ayers make that decision for me.
Yeah, so like after like that I was kind of like, oh, no one knows who I am or cares, whatever. And so it wasn't until my second con, which I was there promoting School Rumble, and because I loved and I loved Beck, but I was just so terrified. Yeah, but as far as School Rumble, I was like, blah, 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 School Rumble's the best, blah, 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 because I directed it, so it was kind of a different feel. And it was funny because Natasha Teague, who used to work at Funimation, she was the brand manager for School Rumble, and she didn't want me to run the School Rumble panel because she had seen me at Anime Boston, and she thought that I wasn't going to say anything. Like she thought I was going to be like really boring. And so like, and I was like, no, I'm running this panel. And then like as soon as I did it, she was like, oh, wow, you can talk.
You do speak.
Yeah, which seems to be a running theme in my life. When I was in middle school, I never spoke. And I actually had a kid in my class ask me if I was capable of speaking.
Oh. And you, yes, like that, just...
Actually, no, that's exactly what I just said. Yeah. And that was it.
Totally Wednesday Addams when you were a child.
Yeah, no, man, I was so quiet, but...
What happened?
I don't know, man. I was so afraid of everyone. Like, people were my fear whenever I was little. And I used to, like, the only time that I would ever, like... And I loved acting my whole life. Yeah. I really, really did. And the only time that I would ever act, though, when I was little, up until I was like 15, was just in my room. And I mean, I wasn't like me playing with dolls. It was like I would make up these dramatic scenes and act them out like completely in my room. And there was the most memorable one was whenever we had a babysitter. And so I was just in my room hanging out, acting out the scene, and this time it was a crying scene, and I even remember the subject matter. It was I was at the airport trying to get this man that I loved to stay because he was going to leave me for some other woman, and then he told me that the only way he could ever be happy was with this other woman, and so I said, then go. Because I loved him so much. I just wanted him to be happy. So that was the scene. So I started, crying at the end of it. And my babysitter came in that second. And she kind of freaked out. And she was like, oh my God, what's wrong? And I didn't know how to explain to her that I was acting out an airport scene. So I told her that I missed my father.
That's kind of psychotic.
I know, but I didn't know what else to do. And I think about it now, and it's like she probably just felt so sorry for me.
She like went home that night, just my God.
It's really funny.
That poor girl. But I mean, I was actually having a great time because I was like kicking ass at the scene,
That's hilarious.
No, I think would have been creepier to be like, well, I'm done with the scene now. Now to give myself some notes. Where do I need to improve?
She's like,
I need to critique myself. I don't know. There's nothing I would change.
Nope, that was perfect. That was absolutely perfect. That's a great story. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
about
I'm
you.
a weird child. I was a weird child. Now
You
I'm
still
a weird
are.
adult.
Well, I think none of us are. I don't know what's normal, but like I wrote
never.
up like contracts. Like my mother was like, tear this up right now. I'm like, what? She's like, there is no way your brother's doing all of your chores. I'm like, well, I cannot help that he did not read the contract he signed. And I'm like,
He's two. Yeah.
she's like, I will tear it up. I'm like, if you do, I will just sue you. So you can do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was me. So you're rather normal to me.
Yeah, I never.
You were like a little Paul. Paul did that kind of stuff.
I wanted to.
One of the reasons I love Paul then.
Yes.
I wanted to be a lighthouse keeper when I was a child. I wanted nothing more than to be a lighthouse keeper and Santa Claus. I really wanted to be
Good
Santa
choices.
Claus.
Good choices.
Huh?
What a lonely life.
I did. No, I had a girlfriend at the time, a little girlfriend, and we were both. I guess I was in 3rd grade or something.
You had a.
You remember those?
And
I had a boyfriend when I was in the 4th grade, and you guys did nothing. You did nothing except go, that's my boyfriend, or that's my girlfriend. That's it. That's all you did.
Hopefully.
Well, I mean, come on, it's 3rd grade. That's really all we could do. I hope, but
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I had this girl that was totally on board with becoming Mrs. Santa Claus because I didn't take the news I didn't take the news of the real Santa well. I found out because I had an older brother that thought it was time for me to know the truth, and so
he just flat out
told me because we were having an argument. He's like, and it had nothing to do with Christmas or Santa Claus, but it was right around like November or something, and my brother was like, yeah, well, you know what, Santa Claus isn't real, and I'm like, yeah, he is. You're just being a douche. I didn't say that.
What does it have to do with not doing the dishes?
And I refused to believe. I refused to believe him. But then he decided, well, no, we'll take you up. So he took me up to the attic where my parents kept the toys hidden.
Aww.
And there's, plain as day, was the evidence.
He was like the
from
brother
Sears
from Wonder Years. Just
well, he was so much older than me that I was such an annoying little child that it was like, he's like, dude, just shut up, okay? Whatever. There's no Santa Claus. He hadn't believed in Santa Claus for like 5 years at that point. He was over it.
Older brothers suck. I never
suck.
believed in Santa Claus because of Gino.
Oh.
Like from the beginning, he was like, "It's a lie. It's a lie. Santa's not real. Santa's not real." So I never even had the opportunity.
He still says that, actually. He still goes around.
I'm the I'm the oldest, so it was like, yeah, sure, he's real, whatever.
But see, when I learned
nice.
when I learned that Santa Claus wasn't real,
Not now.
when I learned that Santa Claus wasn't real, I took it upon myself to become a Santa Claus. I'm like, I'm going to do this because when I grow up, I'm going to be Santa Claus because no child should have to like live through this devastating
You know, you
realization.
get like 3 blocks down, you're like, fuck.
I'm like,
Can't
how
do
the hell am I
this.
going to get reindeer? Okay, reindeer, I need 8 of them. 9 if I want Rudolph.
How would you fund this?
Well, that was all, I figured,
I'll get a grant.
Like a grant.
Brandon Potter has been Santa Claus. He's been the mall Santa.
I could totally see that. He would have a great Santa voice.
No, he looked incredible. Like, he showed me pictures of it, and he had, like, the rosy cheek makeup, and he had, like, a fake, like, white beard and white wig that actually looked real. Like, I mean, it looked professional.
Wow. Mall Santas, some of them, like the ritzier stuff, like, man, maybe there is a Santa.
I don't think that
Maybe that is real.
the ritzy Santas existed anywhere that I ever lived.
They certainly
Yeah,
didn't where I lived, but you can find them. You can find them around here sometimes. Like there's one in, I think, is it North Park Mall?
Probably, yeah.
Where
North
like
Park's
the guy really has a beard and he's totally in character.
Paul's dad does that. He naturally has very white hair, and he's kind of pudgy, and so before Christmas he always grows out his beard, and he'll go to like children's hospitals and stuff and like
so
play
sweet.
Santa. Mm-hmm.
I may do that one day. I may like dress up as Santa and do charity work so I can kind of live the dream,
Yeah,
as it were. Like I am Santa
fulfill your
Claus
childhood
now.
dream.
Damn you, brother. Easter Bunny, however, is totally real, and I've seen him.
Oh, let's not get into that. We
That's
don't have
another story.
So tune in next time. Well, I guess we should go ahead and wrap this baby up.
Yeah. Get out.
Well, I hope you've had fun.
The worst time of my life. Can I please
Oh
leave?
my God, please
God.
do.
No, Brina, I told you. Until I get my lotion back, you ain't going nowhere.
Okay, you know what? I'll leave.
All right.
Okay. I think we already discussed
Okay, bye.
before.
See you later.
Brina's actually like,
Okay.
cool. You know what? Actually, I'm fine with staying. All right. But it's been a pleasure having you, my dear. I'm glad you could do this. So.
Thank you for having me.